school and high school, this was the book that I just loved reading all the time. Even though I didn't wear a lot of makeup, I just loved the little tips and tricks and just everything about it, and I still do to this day, even as a 31-year-old woman. So yes, I've had this book is at least 20 years old, which is crazy. And let's take a little look down, or a little walk down memory lane. But first, I'm going to light my lavender and sage candle and take a sip of water. I think we left off on, let's see, if you hear pitter-pattering of feet, that is my dog. He wanted to come in and say hi. And if you hear that, that is him playing with his toy. Okay, here we go. We left off on her discussing plastic surgery. Let's see. She wrote, "If you haven't noticed already, I love strong noses. For me, a strong nose gives character to the face and its special body. You should know that you may grow into your nose. We all go through awkward physical times when our noses or chins haven't completely grown into our faces. But if nothing I can say will make you like your nose, and you really are truly miserable, then you might consider doing something. Be patient. The youngest possible age, I'd recommend even considering it, 16. And then she discusses all of the options that you would have to modify your body if you wanted to. She talks about breasts, making them smaller, making them bigger. I love this. She says, my honest advice, wait. Don't do it for a boyfriend. Build your pectoral muscles and you'll feel better about your chest and be more able to wear low-cut clothes. Okay, well, I love the first part that she said about do not do it for a man. I completely agree. She also talks about liposuction, injections, and mole removal. And in mole removal, she talks about how Cindy Crawford chose not to have her mole removed. And it turned out to be one of the reasons she became the supermodel that she is. So she also talks about covering up pimples. And I love that she wrote the first thing that she discusses isn't how to cover it up, but how to prevent them. She talks about food and zits, kind of making sure that what you're putting in your body is healthy, and, you know, rich in iodine, like shrimp, scallops, and lobster. Sorry, that was wrong. People say that iodine-rich foods can trigger breakouts, so shrimp, scallops, and lobster. So just kind of being aware of what you're eating and what might be causing it. She talks about skincare, using the right cleanser, scrub, tea tree oil, she said is, I guess she's saying that you can use it as an astringent. Different types of masks. Clay mask are great for deep cleansing. It cleans your pores and helps get rid of blackheads. Cover up versus concealer. Okay, this is kind of controversial what she says. Concealer is not for zits. Unlike cover up, concealer is lighter than skin tone and should be used on dark under eye circles and at the dark inner corner of the eye. Putting concealer on zits will draw more attention to them because it will make them look too light. That still holds up to this day, because if you watch beauty videos on YouTube, you know that you're supposed to buy concealer that's a little lighter than your skin tone if you're using it under your eyes to brighten that area. She also wrote, which I love this too, foundation all over your face will look too made up at this point in your life. She's talking to teenagers who already have amazing skin for the most part. Use foundation only on zits. If you want some all over cover, choose a tinted moisturizer because it's more sheer and natural. And that's something that I still kind of practice to this day. I am not a full coverage foundation kind of person. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but personally it doesn't look good on me. So if I have any redness or blemishes, I always just spot correct those instead of covering my whole face in full coverage, because I like my skin to still shine through. She discusses covering up, pimples. Ooh, okay, let's read this. It says, everything eyes. There's nothing more beautiful than clear eyes. Natural definition and innocence is a great gift when you are young. There is a time of your life when you don't actually need much makeup to make your eyes sparkle. But beware, too much of the wrong makeup will take away from your eyes. Shadow. Experiment with light, fun colors, pastels, soft metallics, and brights. Go beyond powder shadows for textures that are creamy, shimmery, sparkly, or glittery. Break the rules and avoid perfection. What's modern in shadow is being casual with the color. Spread one shade all across one lid and don't worry too much if the other lid is slightly different. There are no rights and wrongs here. This is probably one instance where the way your mother does it is not your blueprint. I actually really love her eyeshadow in this picture. That's a look that I would do now, and it's crazy that this picture is from 20 years ago. And this look, I love that green. Biggest eye mistake. Trying to change the shape of your eyes with dark shadow, i.e. contouring. All you'll end up doing is making your eyes look smaller. Contouring is a really advanced technique that some professional makeup artists haven't figured out. My advice, you don't need to change the shape of your eyes. They are pretty wonderful the way they are. And then she gives a eyeliner discussion, an eyebrow lesson. Let's read this, because eyebrows I feel like have changed a lot in the last 20 years. Getting the right shape is everything when it comes to your eyebrows. When in doubt, leave yours alone. Taking away too much is the worst thing you can do. Thick, natural, untouched brows are much more beautiful than overplucked, over-manicured brows. Okay, I'm very surprised that she said that. That's very ahead of her time. To make sure your shape is natural looking, you need to keep the natural shape of your brows. Just use your tweezers to clean up stray hairs. Don't glue yourself to a magnifying mirror without coming up for breath. Stepping back and taking a look may save you from taking off too much. Overplucking is most girls' biggest regret. That is very true. I used to do, actually I can probably show you. I kind of used to do a version of these ones, the tadpole brows. Not as severe though, but I would always pluck like this part super thin and then leave this part incredibly like just natural. Just my brows are naturally quite full, and I don't know why I did that, but I definitely regretted doing it. It took me a long time to kind of get them back to where they used to be. It talks about finding your brow shape. Okay, let's go to blush. The perfect color blush is the shade of your cheeks when you exercise. It's all about your color choice in blush. The right color should blend itself. If blush is too obvious, you've got the wrong one. If you have very pale skin, stick to soft pastels with no brown in them. Brown can make your face look dirty. If you have light skin, use pale pinks. If you have medium skin, use sandy pinks. If you have dark or black skin, choose deep, rich colors like soft plum or deep bronze. If you have yellow or olive skin, look for shades like pink, tawny, or rose, and stay away from peach and bronze. The wrong blush, it makes you look dirty, bruised, or pasty. And then she talks about formulas. She said, there are so many blush options out there. I can understand if you get confused. Powder, blush, or bronzer. Powder is the easiest to apply, especially if it's the perfect shade. For blemished skin, stick with powder blush. Cream, made in pots, sticks, and tubes. Cream blush looks the most fresh and natural, but you need to work on application. Blend it into your cheek, then turn your face to the side and blend it down. Skip this formula if you have oily skin. Skip cream blushes in the summer unless your skin is super dry. There's pencils, there's gels and stains. This is interesting. For application, she says that you're supposed to smile, which I have heard, I'm pretty sure from Robert Welsh, that you're not supposed to smile because your cheeks are going to be in a different position when you stop smiling. So the blush isn't going to sit right unless you're smiling all the time, which most people are not smiling all the time. She talks about lips. She says, oops, lipstick is fun. Experimenting with it and playing with color is the quickest way to change your look. Soft lips are what all girls want. Full lips are sensuous and amazing. The fuller, the better for me. Small, thin lips are also beautiful. They look best with lighter natural colors and lots of gloss. She said how to make your own lipstick palette, which I feel like is a very early 2000s thing. She has a model with different shades of lipstick on, how to mix your lipstick, some old school hand swatches. Let's see, Beauty School 101. She has 8 steps to a pretty natural makeup look. Step number 1 is cover dark circles. With your index finger, gently smooth concealer that's 1 shade lighter than your skin tone under the eye to cover any darkness there. Step 2, cover zits and redness. If you have blemishes, use foundation that's the exact color of your skin to cover. Use your finger or a brush. Step back from the mirror and check whether you have any blotches or redness. Use foundation to cover. Step 3 is sealing your coverage using a powder puff. A powder puff, that's so early 2000s. Pat a small amount of powder lightly over face to set your makeup. Skip this step and your cover-up will disappear. Don't forget your brows. Comb your brows up and across using a brow brush or a toothbrush, one that you've bought just for this purpose. Or softly apply shadow to fill in brows to make fuller. Step 5, shimmerize your lids. Use your finger or a brush to apply a shimmery shade to the eyelid. Here I used a silvery lavender shade that looks good on almost everyone. Experiment with colors and after texture. You guys know, I love this look. Anything lavender, I would do this look like today. I love that purple and I love that lip color. Step 6, natural flush. Cream blush goes on the apples of your cheeks. Blend up and down. Step 7, lusher lashes. Mascara goes on top and bottom lashes, thicker on the outer lashes. Do 1 or 2 coats and let it dry in between. And step 8 is lastly, lips. Fill in entire lip using a creamy lip pencil. Then, using your finger or a brush, spread gloss on top. Experiment with colors and textures. All right, I think I'm going to leave it off on that. Let me know if you want me to keep reading from this book. I love taking a little trip down memory lane with this one, and I feel like a lot of these tips still hold up in today's world. You know, obviously in the early 2000s, makeup tips and tricks weren't as accessible as they are now, but even still, I think that this book is very ahead of its time as far as a lot of things go. So let me know if you want me to keep reading this. I really enjoyed doing this. I hope that you are feeling more relaxed, and I hope that you are ready for a lovely night's sleep. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Good night.